Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Julia Manicucci and I'm a Brazilian living in Romania. And if you're new to the channel, just know that here we do content about being a foreigner in Romania, culture, music, food, language and everything. And today is my fourth video about Romanian language. And today, instead of comparing Romanian to Portuguese as I did previously, I wanted to deep dive a bit and compare Romanian to all the other Latin languages. Grab your coffee and let's go. Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Romanian, and French, they are all coming from the same roots, right? So they are one big, happy Latin family.
The mafia.
But let me tell you a story. When I came here to Romania with my Italian friend for the first time, we didn't understand a word. We looked at each other like completely lost. Seriously, it's funny because most of Romanians think that Italian and Romanian are so close, or Portuguese and Romanian are super similar. But maybe it is, but not to our ears. Like, for real, when people are saying like Portuguese, Italian and Romanian are almost the same language, we were like,
What? Not true.
nada, nothing, niente, nimic. So why is that if we are supposedly related? Today we are going to a linguistic detective mission.
Sherlock.
We will explore clues, big differences, similarities, why listening is so much harder than reading, focusing on vocabulary, surprises, sound barriers, etc. I want to explore as well something that for me is the craziest part, that are the Romanian verbs. That I am learning some Romanian, yeah? But for me, the verbs are always a challenge. So let's solve this Romanian verbs mystery that are giving me headaches, laugh a bit and enjoy together. Okay, let's start with evidence. Where can you see the family connection?
What a weird family.
Often is much clearer when the things are written down. Let's find those matching names in our family tree. Numbers from 1 to 5. Uno, uno, un. By the way, sorry for my French, I don't speak French.
Sorry, I only took French for 7 years.
Maybe I will be pronouncing the words in French completely upside down and wrong. Doi, dois, dos, do. Três, 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 trois. Quatro, 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 quatro. Quatre. Cinco, cinco, cinque. Sung. Maybe the pronunciation is different, especially the French one, let's be honest, but written they are really similar. Sun, again, soare, sol, sol, sole, soleil. Water, apa, agua, agua, aqua, o. French again giving me a hard time, but yeah, let's go. Bread, pâine, pão, pan, pane. Bom. Good. Bun, bon, bueno, buono, bon. New. No, novo, nuevo, nuovo, nouveau. And the list goes on. We have many similar words, right? Especially written. So on paper, the connection is there. We can see that. You can spot these words and okay, you think that family resemblance.
Family resemblance, huh?
But just because you can read it doesn't mean you can see it, or better, hear it. Here's where things get interesting. A big plot twist on the Romanian history involves their neighbors. While the other Romance languages speakers were mingling everywhere, Romanians kept close to their neighbors, the Slavics. And guess what? They influenced a lot on the Romanian language. Obviously, we are not gonna ignore the Hungarians and the Turkish because they also had their influence, but the Slavic influence is even stronger. This means that many common, everyday Romanian words have Slavic influences. And then these Romanian words are gonna look completely different from the Latin word that maybe Romania has both, but they will be using more the Slavic somehow. And that makes me think that this could be the reason why it's easier for a Romanian to understand the other Romance languages than the opposite. Because Romanian will have both versions, Slavic and Latin, and they can relate when they hear the Latin version, but the Latin speakers cannot relate when they hear the Slavic version, you know? Let's just go into them. The word yes, Romanian says da, is the most different from all of the sing, whatever. Or for example, to love, that we use different versions of amor, amore, amar, whatever. Romanian use IUB, which is also Slavic. Wife, Romanian uses nevasta, that's Slavic roots again. Friend, Romanian use prieten. They also have amic, but they will rather use prieten, while Italian amico, Portuguese and Spanish amigo, whatever. If you're rich, you're bogat, Slavic. Body, you can use corp, but you can also use trup, Slavic. Hearing those completely different words, your brain's like, Latin? Is it Latin? It's like, whoa, hold on.
What is that, Slavic?
Who invited that brother to our party? That's the major reason why listening could be so confusing. So let's dive into the verb nightmare. Why my brain still hurts.
Conjugate the verb. Conjugate the verb.
Alright, everyone. Deep breaths. We need to talk about verbs. Now I know all the Romance languages likes changing the end of the words, the end of the verbs. It's like a mandatory family tradition, right?
As is tradition.
You have to know who is doing the action. So the verb will have the same termination for io, eu, jo. The same termination for tu. The same termination for then he, she, it. So lei, lui, ella, el, ela, ele, and whatever.
It's not amazing, it's just a little less shit.
But in Romanian, while this is true, they have a bunch of verbs that won't respect these rules exactly how we are waiting for them to. Look at to sing. The idea is the same as the other brothers, right? And we say like, okay, that makes sense, for us it's good. Eu canto, tu cantes, ea, ele canta, noi cantăm, voi cantați, ei canta. Which is okay, you know? But Romanian adds like a little extra spice.
Spicy.
With different conjugations is not always obvious. At all. My personal linguistic nightmare is some verbs like a cantar, to sing, just go eu canto. It's fine. But then you have verbs like a inventar, which means to invent. And they decided to add like a is in the end. So it would go eu inventes, tu inventese, ea inventeza, noi inventam, voi inventați, se inventeze. Okay? Nothing as you expected, right? Okay, for me neither. And besides that, why not? There is the other verb with isk. So, a gandi, you don't say eu gand. You say eu gandesc. Why? Tu gândești. Eu vorbesc. Tu vorbești. Goes totally different from the other verbs, right? So how do you know if you gotta add is or ask, or if you should conjugate as a normal verb? You don't. If you're Romanian, please let me know down here if there is a logic for this. My brain is just like taking fire because I can't guess it. But honestly, for me, you just have to memorize them. There are some patterns, but so many exceptions. And this still gets me after all those years. My brain is constantly playing games like eu invento? Só eu inventei. Eu confirmo? Só eu confirmei. Eu manão? Ou eu manquei? mean, I will just try it. And if you guys laugh, I know it's wrong. Gosh, somebody help me. Okay, so we've got the different vocabulary from the Slavic neighbors and the very confusing verb conjugations that are messing with our brains. But maybe, just maybe, the biggest wall between understanding Romanian and the other Latin languages, especially listening to them, is just the sound. Simply the sound. Remember my story when I arrived here with my Italian friend and we didn't understand anything? I really believe that the different pronunciation system is what got us so lost here.
Buongiorno.
Our Italian and Brazilian ears were not prepared for the sounds of the beautiful Romanian language. So the Romanian language music has some sounds that we are not necessarily used to, like or This one always gets me pronouncing wrong. Pâine, for example. And then you have sounds like ц, for example, in piazza, or sh, like in escola. These sounds are used all the time. These different sounds, plus a different rhythm and intonation pattern, means that even if a word is related to a Portuguese one, for example, I might not hear the resemblance. It could even sound completely unrecognizable for a Portuguese or Italian speaker. It really is like these languages are singing in different keys. Your brain could be tuned to the melody of Portuguese, Spanish or Italian, and then Romanian comes along with its own different, unique tune. It takes some time to practice and adjust your ears. Romanian, definitely part of the Latin family. You can see the roots, but it has built its own unique special house with different features. Surprising Slavic vocabulary, tricky verbs, and sounds that definitely challenge our ears. And isn't it that the difference between reading Romanian and listening to it, it's so real? On paper, as a Brazilian, I often look at Romanian written and I'm like, oh yeah, certainly I can see the resemblance. Then I hear it spoken and I'm like, sorry, who are you again?
Who are you?
It's fascinating. But honestly, despite these moments where my brain really hurts, these differences are what makes learning Romanian so fun and such a rewarding adventure. Knowing Portuguese definitely gave me some clues, but mastering Romanian is a unique journey. What about yourself? Did you have similar experiences learning Romanian? Please let me know what is that makes your brain hurt. Is the verb thing a thing for all of you, or is just something for me? Please share your funny stories, your frustrations, your favorite words. Leave everything in the comments below. I love reading them. I love learning with you guys. I love seeing what is your perspective, because I am very sure each of us have a different experience with the language. And if you survived this linguistic roller coaster with me, please leave me your like, subscribe, and see you later. Ciao, arrivedere, arrivederci. Adios muchachos, besitos, popich, papa.